What's up, y'all? It's your boy Who's 74. We back here with another chapter of One Piece. This introduction not gonna be too long because I do want to get immediately into the goods of this chapter, man. I read some spoilers, so I know what's going on. We're not gonna talk about the spoilers because I did not make a pre-video discussing the spoilers. So we just gonna get into this raw together. You feel me? Supposed to be turning up, you know. I know we gonna end on a real bad cliffhanger. It's gonna piss me off, the cliffhanger we gonna end on. But hopefully it give me what I need to satisfy my thirst until then, you feel me? Like hopefully this is just a good chapter. I want this to be one of them chapters that you look at and be like, fuck, I can't wait until they animate this because even though the panels showed the bare minimum action, I know the animated episode gonna turn the fuck up. You feel me? Like for sure, for sure. All right, let's get into it though. So we do start off this week with a Holy Inari Shrine pilgrimage, but first we got the chapter of this title. This is One Piece chapter 1162, God Valley Battle Royale. So on the Holy Inari Shrine pilgrimage volume, it doesn't say. It just says final volume. So this is the final volume. And the title of that one is Dear Luffy Dano. It's another peaceful day in Wano. So as we see, Yamato made it back to the flower capital. Um she's there, she's eating the motherfucking shish kebab. And Momonosuke has one too. He's in the back, adult Momonosuke. I keep forgetting this guy's grown now. Um And then you got Kinemon in the back as he's side-eyeing Uati. Because you know that's Yamato first mate. She pledged her allegiance. That's her Zoro. And Kinemon just side-eyeing her little ass like, I don't really know about you. And she looking up at him like, I ain't no shit. She just looking up at him like, I ain't no shit. Not for real, look. He looking at her with the side eye for like, I don't know about you. And she just innocently looking up at him like, I ain't no shit. All right. So before we get into that first page of the chapter, we gonna flame up. You know, we smoke. What we smoking on today? Power! Hack! Fuck is you time out. This that motherfucker, my hero, Ultradamia. Fuck is you time out. This what bro ass be using, Lemillion. When power before he go out, you feel me on phone, he spark him up a power pack on my mama. 20 .27% THC. One moment. One of my homies, I had to call, I gotta call him back when I get off stream. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, that power pack. Fuck is you talking about? This motherfucker 27% THC. We smoking 27% today. But we finna flame up and get into this amazing chapter. Wow, to my Fungo Pop collection in the back and my action figure. It's just the collection is just growing. This was a rent month today. You know, rent check, you feel me, around this time, so I couldn't buy another one. I ain't balling, y'all. Y'all ain't giving me enough views for me to have that much extra funds. All right, smoke, stroke, smoke, stroke, smoke. All right, let's get it. All right, so moving on down, we see. All right, so we picking up where we left off. We get word that, remember we had got word that the Roger Pirates and the Rocks Pirates had came from the north and the south. You feel me? And they technically sandwiched in the Navy. The only way they had to escape was through the east, but the Celestial Dragons was getting out first. So the Navy was there just, you feel me, just like waiting just to get their ass ran down though. Okay, I noticed it's a treasure chest down here on this end of the map. They showing us that it's a treasure chest that's close to where Rocks and Garland is. Hmm. Could that be how Blackbeard gets off the island? Well, it's just the treasure chest that Shanks get puts in. But we see that Rocks and Garland met up and over on the shore of the north side. Meanwhile, Rogers is in the middle of the island where he's clashing with Whitebeard because you know he was there when Rayleigh saved to help Rayleigh save Shakiyaku, who was showing that ass off last chapter. I ain't forget. I ain't forget. When they give us a color spread of that, or when it come out in the anime, that's gonna be my screen saver. So, Shakuyaku after getting slapped with that ass up in the air. All right, so we see an explosion from the Rocks and from the Rocks and Garland fight, and we get some dialogue saying Rocks and Saint Garland are clashing in the northwest. Send backup. And then we see some dialogue saying, like the little narrator dialogue saying, no one's safe on God's Valley. So don't get it twisted. The Roger Pirates are definitely there looking for treasure also before they leave. So we see Roger speaking to his crew. He said, we got the Rocks crew behind us and the Navy to our front. Go on. He said, go on ahead, Rayleigh. I'll handle things here. And then I guess Rayleigh, because somebody responds, my bad, Roger. And then we see somebody saying, Rayleigh got Shocky back. What? Man, I'm so jealous. Damn it, me too. Beat Rayleigh and take Shocky. So we see a bunch of the other pirates upset that Rayleigh got Shocky, so they trying to beat him and take her. But it don't matter no more because he saved her already. So even if y'all pump fake, you feel me, her love for him won't waver. So all the Roger pirates are then helping out, you feel me, opening up the way for Rayleigh to get through, and they telling him move to the ship to the southwest, and Rayleigh is saying on it. And we switch over to Shiki as he's just going through a bunch of people. Like he knocking motherfuckers over, screaming, you dumbasses. Shaki will get hurt. So he's knocking everybody out that's trying to attack Rayleigh to get Shaki, because he like, if y'all attack Rayleigh, y'all gonna hurt Shaki. He's telling them, focus on gathering treasure instead. Everything else is still up for grabs. So yeah, Whitebeard and Shiki telling these dummies like, man, y'all stop focusing on Shaki. You feel me? Y'all gonna hurt her more than anything. It's still hella other treasure here. Get some of this shit and bounce. Fuck is y'all talking about? And then as Rayleigh and Shocky is running, Rayleigh's holding Shocky in his arms. She just eating it up. She just smelling his aroma. You feel me? Just smelling the fuck out his neck while he running with her. And he telling her like, Shocky, there's something I got to tell you. And she tell his ass, don't say another word. I already know with they cake ass. All I hear is the Titanic music. Doo doo doo, doo doo doo, doo doo doo. Yeah, that's all I hear. Right? So we cut over to the prize storeroom. We get dialogue. It's crazy out there. Couldn't have asked for a better opportunity as we see it's Kuma and Ivankov as they are coming across the devil fruits because they found that treasure room. Kuma says this is it. And then Ivankov says, yes, I don't know which is which, but just eat up. And then wham, Big Mom come in there. Phew, close one. As she slams Ivankov into the wall, snatching the devil fruit that Ivankov have, as we all know, that is the fish fruit model Azora Dragon, or the Koi Koi fruit model Azora Dragon. And Kuma has his Paw Paw fruit. So Big Mom, you feel me, slams Ivankov into the wall, taking the fruit, saying that was a close one. As she looks at Kuma, then reaches for his fruit, and she says, hand that one over too. And Ivankov says, Kuma, don't ink, don't. Damn. Ivankov screams out, Kuma, don't think, just eat it. And he scuffed that bitch down real quick. She said, you have to eat it. And as Kuma swallows that devil fruit whole, I know it tastes disgusting because they say they do. Big Mom is looking angry as fuck. So then we cut over to it looks like somebody saying save them. If we can, it's Ivankov because I see that ve instead of we. If ve save them. If we get a single person off this island alive, we can call this a victory. And then we cut over to some more fighting between pirates. We get what looks to be Marco, even though we know for a fact that isn't Marco kicking the shit out of Silver Axe. And we get dialogue saying the islands devolved into a pirate war. Should we pull back or try to capture them? It's what the Marines are dialoguing and politicking with themselves. Um, then somebody, whoever is saying that, is asking, "What are your orders?" As there's an explosion going off behind them, and we see that it is the Marine Group location. As we see that Garp and his Ace Coon Boom, that swordsman guy, they running, and Garp is calling saying, "Hey Sengoku, did you know about this crap?" And he like, I think I recall someone alluding to it in a vague rambling report once. The guy, he says, the guy up and vanished from the Navy life sometime afterwards. And then Garp says, this doesn't feel like a dream. They really did this. So he's seeing all these dead people and dead civilians, you feel me, on bro. And he realizing that this is what was going on this island. Second, I'm responding to a work message. All right, so Garp is what we picked up where we left off at. Garp is sorry y'all, I work security. Uh Pretty much am the go-to guy whenever they can't get in touch with my account manager. They reach out to me. So, cause I'm the site supervisor, so I be in my shit all fucking day. But anyway, Garp seen how he seen all the dead bodies and he know that the celestial dragons was there slamming motherfuckers out because he knew they was there on the island before the pirates got there, and he knew he was called to the to the island to defend them against the pirates. He know that, but he didn't know what the fuck they were there doing. So when he get there and he see all these dead bodies, he like, this is what they're there doing. All right. So he's seeing that shit. He like they definitely doing this. They bogus as hell. Sengoku says something about some guy. It was some guy. So Sengoku's claiming that he don't know about it, but some dude mentioned it in a report once, but disappeared from the Marines. I mean, from the Navy afterwards. All right. So now we cutting over to Rock's location. Okay, let's flame this blunt back up. Work gonna have to wait. Right, hit blunt. So we see Rock's location, and we see somebody says, we see, I'm assuming that's Rock saying, why ain't these guys dying? And then Eris, which is Rock's wife, says, Sebek, put me down. I like her hair. And as we see the panel, I can switch over now, of Rock's running while holding Eris, who is holding Teach, a young Teach. She's saying, we got no, Rock saying, we got no choice but to run. Some of the others got caught up and got transformed. And then that's what Rocks are saying. And then Eris then says, wait, Zebek, what happened? Is it an ability? And then we see dialogue of the two big Buccaneers, the guy that had on the hat, and I guess he had a big wife, but they are definitely Domi Reversi. They demified now. And Rocks is saying, Pops, Granny, what in the world? So as we were told, Rocks and Garland was fighting at the beginning of the chapter. And we see the results of that. Garland got his shit split, like literally shit split. You feel me? As they're chasing him down, and Garland's head is healing, he's saying he's strong for sure. He sure is strong. It takes quite a long while to regenerate from his sword slashes. And then whoever the girl is next to him, I forget her name. I'm not going back. He says, but now we know he's also part of the Davy clan. Finishing him will please the Great One. So they know that he part of the Davy clan just off the fact that he came and showed up to save her. And then as she says that'll please the Great One, Garland responds, indeed, the interruption to our tournament has turned out to be a blessing. I hate that fucking term, tourney. Oh, tourney, tourney. Yeah, just shut the fuck up. It sounds like dumb as hell. And then as Rocks is still running, Eris says, let me go, Zebek. She says, are you going to try to fight them one-handed? And then Rock says, don't you get it, Eris? If anyone's bearing the Davy name gets caught, they'll go through so much suffering it'll make hell look tame. And then Eris says, I know that. What are their quarrel with the Davy D clan that like they just hate it that much? He technically saying they'll get treated the worst way out of all the slaves. And Eris says, I know that. She says, I'm a full-fledged part of the Davy clan now. Everyone here was always so nice to me, even though I was a pirate. She says, I fully understand the fate our clan faces. Now put me down. And Rock says, hey, as he drops her. She says, if I was the kind of woman who just clung to you and couldn't protect a single child, she says you never would have fallen for me, right? Yeah, so Rocks dropped her like shit. I bet he just dropped her little ass mid round running, you feel me, on phone. Kinda like their relationship. Then Rock says, don't be an idiot. He says, if it looks like they're about to get me, he says, I'll. She says, no, Rock says, don't be an idiot. And then she tells him, if it looks like they're about to get me, I'll kill Teach and commit suicide. She says, we'll survive this by splitting up. Let's meet on La Lucia Zebek. Hmm. So as Eris runs off, Rock then stops, turns around to buy her time. But he feels like he's the one being saved because he says, why am I the one being saved here? You feel me? Even though you turning around facing the bad guys. So Garland, as it seems he's fully healed now, says, "Finally ditched your wife and kid, huh? Now then, what will the next attack be?" As Rocks lift that sword up, Garland gets on alert, and he swings that sword down, looking like he doing the motherfucker wind scar. Fuck is you talking about, boy? Only the goats know about that. Inuyasha, yeah, hit blunt. He looked like he throwing the wind sky at their ass on phono. Holy shit. Look at the span of Rox's attack, bro. Look at this. Like, look. Right here in this area, right here. And that's one sword swing. Rock says, afraid I can't let you go any further. Now bring it on, you monsters. This man Rocks is goaded, bro. Diabolical. One sword swing, bro. No devil fruit. As we see Eris running, Teach looking back at the explosion. We see some dialogue we get because we going over to a new area outside the storeroom. We see Big Mom, you feel me, with her fruit in her hand, talking about the model of the fish fruit. She says, I'll feed it to Katakuri. My future crew is going to be overwhelmingly powerful. And then we see that silhouette of Kaido in the back with that Kanabo, looking like he from the Thunder Baga her shit. Oh, photo, he go across her shit. I see this in the spoilers for. I see this in the spoilers, bro. This shit had me crying. He whammed the shit right in the face. And dead ass caught the devil fruit in his mouth as it was falling. She hit the ground face first, look up at him. He's smiling at her ass. Time out, so no, no, no. And then she screams, "Screw you, Kaido!" And there's a giant hockey explosion. Then we see Dragon running with a baby Shanks, while parallel at the same time we see Eris still running with Teach. These two, their future are tied. This panel is showing you that. One moment. So this how we know that they're tied. Like they're tied by fate, bro. They bound by fate. You feel me? Um, Dragon running with a baby Shanks, while at the same time Eris running with a young Teach, and they both saying, "I won't let you die." And then we cut over to a different area behind the game stage, the prize storeroom 2. And we see somebody saying, I found the treasure. Woohoo! And we look and we see it's the Roger Pirates as they find the stash. We see Scopper and some other motherfuckers who I don't know and don't care for saying, I never seen this much loot before. Whoa, there's devil fruits too. Load it all up. And then I don't know who that is saying, like, we let the Roger Pirates get away with all this. I think that's Shiki. Tries to snake Scopper, but he blocks the attack. We see some more Marines show up saying drive the pirates off the island. And as we cut back to Garp, who is still like trying to process everything, saying nothing makes sense here, even justice. We see slaves cheering, saying the world government's navy, please let us go. Now they screaming, they begging. And we see the narrator dialogue saying God's Valley is not a member nation. As such, what, bitch? I hate when they do that shit. Whatever. So we get some more flashbacks of Kuma managing to save people, woo, 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 whatever. Then we get to Saturn. Okay, Saturn. Somebody's talking to Saturn is watching everything. He was on the island watching everything, but we get somebody in his head talking. That's the same way the dialogue bubbles always look whenever it's the Gorosei communicating with each other mentally. Somebody says Saturn, it's Rock's dead. Saturn says, well, I know who it is. It's Emu. Okay, so Emu says Saturn is Rock's dead. Saturn says, well, things have continued to unfold outside of our expectations. In fact, he says, all this intense destruction, I believe if it continues, we risk something else being unleashed. As Emu responds, that must not be permitted on bro. Like, that's how Emu is, you feel me, responding to that. So what the fuck is on that island that might be unleashed? This is in the past. So is this how the government and Emu and them end up getting the ancient weapon that they have, the one that they use to destroy the Lucia? Also, what is the importance of the Lucia that Rox and Eris was supposed to meet up there? Why choose that island? Hmm. As we see some pirates and marines looking into the air, saying, "What is that? A dragon?" As we know for a fact, that's Kaido. You feel me? Going into this dragon form. Kuma saving slaves. I don't care to read all this. All the thank yous, they crying, thank you, thank you, thank you. And as we see them saying thank you, next thing I know, we see a outer shot, as you guys can see, of God's Valley, and we see just conquer hockey spewing from the entire island immensely. So much that it literally shocks the fuck out of Rogers, Garp, and Zebek at the same time. And I see those creepy legs. We know that's Saturn transforming. And somebody's talking to Rogers. He said, "Boss, it's Rocks and the others." And then Roger says, "Hold on, this probably isn't the time for that." Rocks, as we see him looking menacingly, you feel me, silhouetted with his sword into the ground, fire in the background, dropped bodies all around him. Saint Garland being one of them. Nigga, he took your sword and stuck it through your bitch ass. He on the ground with a sword and his own sword in his chest. I love to see you like that, bitch. Hit blunt. And then Rock says, "How dare you go after my family? If you want me dead, I'll take you down first." And then we see him saying, "There's not much to gain here, as Whitebeard steps to the side, steps to his side, and Rock says, "Not much to gain here, still gonna help." And then Whitebeard says, "Don't sweat it. I owe you one since I'm always drinking on your tab." And then we see the Azura Dragon Kaido flying down, saying, "Hey, you two, check this out." He says, "I finally got an ability." And then we see Saturn, silhouetted Saturn in his demon form. He's possessed by Emu. I think I'm pretty sure the spoiler said that. And you feel me? Only Emu give off that intense hockey thing. The same thing happened when he possessed Gunko. Um, and he says, so we see other Marines and pirates around. One of the Marine soldiers says, "Saturn, what is this transformation?" And then they like, "Whoa, a monster." So we cut back to Kaido, Rocks, and Whitebeard saying, "I finally got my ability." Zebek says, "Good." He says, "Good on you. At least someone's having a fun time." And then Whitebeard says, "That's great and all, but mind if I ask what the hell we're up against?" And then Rock says, "Well," he says, "What is it you ask? If you ask me, I have to say it's the world." And we see Garp also sees this thing saying maybe this is a dream after all. He says, "What's up with this island?" And then Roger says, "This has been one adventurous twist after another." I like Rock's and Roger's reaction. Um, but the world, so Rock's response to Whitebeard asking what this is, and Rock says, "If you ask me, I say it gotta be the world." So what if Emu is the Earth God? It's a possibility. We're gonna make a video talking more about that. We're gonna do a theory video because this got a lot going on, a lot we could talk about, a lot we could discuss. A lot of theories arise from this chapter. Um, but uh, I see we getting the break next week. At least they told us this time because it was a random break last time, and it was a random break before that too. But at least they told us. We gonna end this video because I don't like my videos to be too long. Like I said, we gonna make this theory video sometime during the week though, probably around the time the next chapter spoilers come out because it's a break. So yeah, we gonna do this next week just to have something to do to fill in a gap in between. For now, y'all take it easy. Y'all can hit my blunt one more time, and I'm signing out.